Drifting always fascinated us. For some reason, it never looked like a practical sport for us. It's just not drifting while you burn cars. And cars in drifting again takes a lot of beating.
Today we are going to interact with about certain motorsports, that is drifting, and we thought of talking to the king of drifting in a way, and who has his own racing academy as well. So in conversation with Jeet Tapasvi from Tapasvi Racing, so we just want to understand about how this entire thing about drifting got into you, and what was the first point that you thought that this is what I would want to do.
Look, firstly, I want to thank MotoGazer. I think we need more people like you because we are 144 billion in India. People like you will help the ecosystem grow, which is motorsports, which is what even we are striving towards. So yes, I think looking back at the journey, we enjoy all format of racing. We've been to dirt biking, autocross, drag racing, and see there's very limited races that happens. And given that we are a sucker for motorsports, we just create whatever it takes for us to enjoy that motorsports, whatever is little is happening. See, I mean, it's been a long journey, but yes, sucker for motorsports is where I like to tag myself, and we begin from there.
Perfect. And as if we have done our homework well, I would say that. So it's like racing and motorsports, cars, bike has been with you since generations, starting from your father who used to race, or if I'm not wrong, rally during those days, and where quite a few people knew about rallying or something, or maybe we remember that hero movie where the bike Yama and Yazdi and all those bike rally used to happen. So how did, like, what was the first inspiration moment for you? Was it your father, or is it something like before even your father, like, could inspire you, you had someone else to inspire you?
Right. So I probably want to take a step back. Before father, I was very fond of my grandfather's driving style.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I didn't witness it myself, but there are stories about, and my mother and other people have mentioned that to me. Like my aunts, they witnessed it firsthand. Like my grandfather back in the days, about 30, 40 years back, he's done the whole Lonavala Ghat with like a cup filled with water, and the water spilling hasn't happened. So imagine back in the days what a Lonavala Ghat was. Very scary.
Exactly.
For him to drive the car all the way up without any water spilling out of that mug. Imagine what a driving that would be. So that's the first story where it began. It caught my attention, and I would be with my grandfather to see to see the driving style that he had back in the days. Very limited understanding that I have about driving style, but it just got hooked on since then. And then moving on to generation two, like our weekends would be while my father's tuning his bike, my father's building a car, and if I could share some photos, there are some weird builds that these guys have done. We had a garage at backyard, so these guys would have their best pastime sitting out of a garage, building something very unique. So yes, while my father's raced the first motocross that ever happened in India. Um, uh, uh, my father won that championship. I'll share the certificate with you. So that remains as a very priceless memory with me, and it always inspires me when I look at it to see what a great guy he was. And then if I can take his legacy even to 20% of what he built back in the days, it'll be like a life well lived for me. So father raced, my uncle raced heavily. They had the super bikes, they had the dirt bikes back in the days. And not that they were making a lot of money with whatever they were doing. We were not very great to do as family. But they always kept motorsports as a big part of their life. And that's how I think it kind of rolled into us as well.
Perfect. So, do you have any memory of, like, building some kind? Because as kids, we definitely, when our father is doing some or the other odd thing, we want to fidget around. So, do you have any such memory, like playing around with tools while he's building his bike or something of that sort?
My fathers were like five brothers.
Okay.
And further on, there were about 20 friends who are still there, and they also strive for motorsports. So fond memories. So our layer was at least seven before we get to even contribute. We could, even if you want to do something,
Right.
you could only view them doing things.
Uh-huh.
So mechanics, then father themselves giving inputs, and his brothers. Then there are friends, and then there are people like us who were slightly elder in the age and wanted to learn more of motorsports, and then it was us. So we were always on the viewing side of things. But as and when something was built out of their garage, we would find time out of school to go back and check how the build is going and all of that. So tinting work, painting, they will always want to do something very special. Modification back in the days would only mean free flow, filters, and that's bare minimum to make the car faster.
So that means the eye for detailing that you have has come from, it's in the genes. I should say that in that case?
Yes, I think my father, I mean, he, in spite of drivers at his disposal, I don't know if my father have had any driver to drive his car. And he would go around doing trips in India. He was very finicky about how he'd maintain his car. I've never seen him anything but a white seat cover, that too cloth. So eye for detailing, that's like that my first impression of my dad. Like if you have to sit in his car, you have to ensure that you're clean from all sides before you step into his car. So my uncle were very skeptical about sitting in his car, sharing his car. As kids, we were very skeptical. But those are small things that tells me how strong that he was connected with his machine that he would drive around. And that was with his Tata Sierra, Tata Estate, Ford Escort. Was his last car? Every car that he kept were like straight out of the showroom for whatever years, 10, 12 years, and they will still be at their best shape.
Taking it ahead from there, so when was it you got an first opportunity to put your hands on a bike or the car? How old were you?
So after my father, then my uncle, and then my elder brothers. So Ajit, who works very closely with me, is my elder brother. So my brothers started racing, and then we were still bullied, saying, "Hey, listen, you can only clean my bike. You're not still there. No matter even if you were slightly elder to ride their bikes." So we had to earn it a very difficult way. Like if you were to get a spin on the bike, he would ensure that I clean the bike for him before I sit on his bikes. So while race bikes were like not super import bikes, but an RX 100 built into a dirt bike racing. So that was our first experience, and I'll share some photos of you.
Please.
That first moment, and luckily I still have that picture with me. There's a pride feeling, like an RX 100 built into a dirt bike, and I'm sitting on it, flaunting with my friends, saying that okay, my first dirt bike. As if I've won about 10 cups, but that was my first time I was sitting on the bike. But yes, I think brother was very kind. So as and when he got involved, a year, 2 years down the line, I would get some seat time. He'll train me on the basics. He would build a Zen. So the Zen that you see right here, he made it like really fast car. We'll go back to do drag races in this. Then there's a lot of culture about off-roading. Right. So that's when my brother said, let's build gypsies. So we procured a lot of scrap gypsies from army disposal, and he started building here. That's where a lot of real learning happened, and he was trying to give the gypsies the way he envisioned an off-road. That's where we started importing few stuff, which are lockers, 8-inch deep negative profile wheels, the stability, the tires back in the days where we were using were very rare to import. So we had them. So I think builds were always there. It could be in form of building dirt bikes, building cars, building off-road machines. All of this motorsports, I've had a fair share of experience. And then I think, like I said, if it's rains, then I know off-road competitions are happening. I'll build something, go back and race. Winning, not winning wasn't really a concern to me. Dirt bike, motocross season would happen. There are about 4 races in and around Pune. We were never so rich to travel with our bikes outside state, go back and race the whole national championship. Because we are also working and trying to establish our careers. In and around Pune, we would never miss a thing.
Okay, great.
So that's how.
So again, just wanted to understand, like, how old were you actually when you just first maybe started for the first race that you attended or attempted, or you could say like, or maybe you just started building bike along with your brother. Or
as
so?
an assistant to my brother, I may be standard 10th. Okay. He would go back and race in Bombay on a weekend practice.
Okay.
So we would take the bikes in the gypsy, and I'll be his assistant. or a brother who will take care of everything around him, and we go back in to see what skills he's applying. And there were a bunch of friends who were having a good time near Uran Mera track. Okay. So we'd go every weekend. I'll assist him, so he'd be tired, and I drive him back to home. So the journey, to answer your question, was a 10 standard, maybe at the age of 13, 14,
yes,
where I really got some seat time. And then from there on, as and when brothers was racing, I would always negotiate with him to see if there's a chance for me to race. But as brothers, we started full-time racing at the age of about 19. I think we both had our bikes. We started racing together. He'd race the same car. I would go back and race same cars. And we learn among ourselves, compete among ourselves. It's never a competition between others, but more like between me and my brother. And
so who won?
So Brother is a great racer.
Right.
I mean, you can't match him. I'm 50% of what his skills possess. So he's great at everything that he does. He's taken 90% of the talent from my dad. I must have taken only 20-30%.
Perfect. So we've seen a profile where you have done some 108 races, 45 podiums on FMSCI, then 4x4, some two or like RFC if I'm not wrong, and
Yeah.
then 4x4 again, six other trophies, multiple genres of automotive that you have put your hands in. So, what concluded or landed up you on directly like, no, drifting is something I am gonna settle down on? What was that moment?
Look, I mean, every time I thought bikes were great, then I learned about off road. So I had having so much fun around it. Then I said, I mean, let's explore some more. And like I said, there was a season. If we were in January, we look back to race or drag race. If we were during summers, then we do a lot of dirt biking. A bit of into rains, dirt biking is still on. Heavy rains, you can't do dirt biking because it doesn't favor as much. Then you go back to do off roading. Gypsies come in play, jeeps come in play, Isuzus come in play. So we build cars, and you spoke about RFC. That's where the serious racing happened. So I was lucky enough to have my best friend who also find an interest in Rainforest Challenge. This is the toughest race in the world, and we've been participating good 5 years consistently from Pune. He continues to do it. I have kind of left it back because we're breaking too many cars. But that was my serious, real racing. 10 days in the middle of the jungle. You don't have place to stay. Constantly out of the car, guiding your friend, breaking your car, fixing your car. So I said, as much as it's helping me build a character, it's also testing my patience and my physical fitness. That's where physical fitness became a serious thing for me, and a lot of learning that came in from there as patience. How can you still put all the money and still have all the character, but you still be the last in the race because you still haven't figured all the combinations coming together. And RFC is such money, machine, mind, patience, body, soul, everything has to come in together for you to be a winner. So a lot of learning, and then after that, beyond a point, it didn't interest me as much because we were breaking cars, a lot of money that is going in, and it was required for me to commit 10 days of my calendar days. Then I said, okay, what next? That's when we met the king of drifting, Sanam
Sanam.
Sekho. So he changed life in terms of how we started seeing drifting. Drifting always fascinated us. For some reason, it never looked like a practical sport for us, and that's where a whole blindfold unfolded. We met Sanam, to which he said, "If I can do it, you guys can do it as well." And he's a brother to us now. He's helped us build those cars that you see. We're sitting on an inventory of 8 cars. Uh, so every once in a month, we ensure that we come together. We race out of it. We are the only people who have a dedicated racetrack as well. So it's just not drifting while we burn cars. And cars in drifting again takes a lot of beating. Sometimes they may work, sometimes they may not work.
Correct.
That's the reason why a fleet of 8 cars. Something will work at least
Exactly.
on some day. And then drifting is also something which will teach you about your car.
Right.
Because there's so much that you're pushing on the car, it's always something that you're breaking. Then it also makes you a good negotiator. Because then you're sometimes you're sourcing a second-hand spares. Sometimes you're talking to somebody abroad to say he can guide you on fixing some things which you're burning your clutch like. Then we had Sanam putting us a bigger intercooler, bigger charger pulley, and there's barely any rear wheel drive cars in India.
Right.
So Sanam got us the best, which is the Mercedes C200. When we started our journey, the cars would sell at 2 lakh rupees or something. As we speak, like the cars which are 1 lakh kilometer done also are selling at a 6 lakh rupees. Okay. And they're the only option in India if you have to do drifting in India. Okay. But yes, coming back to the question, I think Sanam is been a game changer for us, helped us through the journey. Now, if there are 8 cars drifting in India, if that's a possibility, all thanks to the Drift King of India, which is Sanam Sekho. We're just carrying his legacy ahead. He may be in Chandigarh, but in Pune alone, we have about 8 cars and about 40 people who like drifting. Once in a month, we meet up. Drifting happens, then followed by a barbecue party with music out of a racetrack. So that I think is also a best part where we get to meet once in a month with all our friends who are part of motorsports.
So, how is this entire trend, or you could say drifting, being taken as a serious motorsport in India now? Like, because recently your team and Sanam, you have cracked a Guinness World Record,
Right.
At the highest point of India. So, one, how is that feeling of getting, recording your name? And along with that, now, does that open a lot of doors for drifting in India? How is it?
So drifting, well, in India, anything is a possibility. Like you do jugad. So we said, if we are 144 billion people in India, might as well somebody will come up with something new as such. So we may begin the journey, but somebody will overtake us by building new cars, bringing in new culture. So we wanted to be say just out there saying it's possible in India. That's the message we want to bring it out. And as we speak, Kerala, Hyderabad, Delhi, Chandigarh, always with Sanam around there. Throughout the states, we've helped people build their cars, and now they're taking the culture up. We're hoping for somebody out there to outshine us and try and say what is a more practical way than what we thought. So the idea was to, with this, whatever we began off-duty driver as a school, to say this is a sport unknown for India, but not anymore. We can do it. It's a lot of fun. So we took that as a torchbearer ahead. And a lot of kids that I know reach out to us through various portals. So we said, with Sanam being so great, and Sanam built a car which is international standards, he racing international, he is definitely something that who deserves a record. And we were contemplating multiple records which we have lined up in the years to come. But the easiest or the most relatable to Sanam was to get him to the highest motorable pass of the world, which is Umlingla. Challenges were insane, but we said that if there's anybody who deserves it more, it's that man. Because of the sheer grit that he carries, he's a go-getter. You put a task on him, it doesn't matter to him. Whatever it takes, he'll go and get it. So it took a year's time to plan that. We had a tuner coming in from abroad. We did a Reiki couple of times to go into Umlingla. Oxygen percentage is 40%.
Exactly.
When we said army, we need your support with ambulances and otherwise because you don't have any other ambulance.
True.
They said, sir, we cannot allow you more than 15-20 minutes to be staying at Umlingla. And kid you not, we're spending average 2 hours at Umlingla, putting our lives at risk and all of that. But we knew what we were up for. Wasn't easy. And that's the reason why it's a world record. Lot of fun. We were tested in terms of patience. Being a part of Sanam's team in order to get all of the logistics sorted in itself was a challenge. But as friends and as motorsports sucker, we go back to we made like a great team of 37 people. It took us 37 of us to put heart and soul to make him do what he did.
Perfect. So, how do you see the future of drifting? Like, is it going to be taken as a serious sport, or again, is it going to be considered as an like as per the authorities, they'll still not give it a legal authorization or something on those lines? But under the cloth, because everything has pros and cons.
Correct.
Because there are people who will take this as a very serious sport and do it in a very covered
Correct.
area, not harming people. But at the
Correct.
same time, you'll have opposite side as well who would try this on the streets where they
Correct.
can danger other people. So, what is your take on that? How would
See,
you do
with drifting, there are a couple of things that are very important. Like as many times we've done drifting, there's 15 minutes or half an hour message that we give out to public, saying you can't be sounding or looking cool if you're doing anything on the road. You're putting a lot of people's life at risk. And as torchbearer for motorsports, I want to give that message as basic give back to the community.
Correct.
And saying you have to do it in the right way. It has to be out of a track, safe zone. Anything that's happening out in the public has to be looked down. That's where it starts. You have to have your basics really right. With drifting, you have to have a dedicated track. That's a challenge in India. While multiple tracks are opening, but it can be as close as 20,000 square feet, and you can still do a drifting. And that's not very bad. 10 friends come together, hire a place, build it with something like a garden tile, and you can still do drifting on it. So that's our answer to first challenge, which is area. Second, building cars. We've extended help to everybody with parts, sourcing what challenges they will come across. Sold some cars which are barely with barely any price. We just want this sport to reach to every city. And us is just to, the idea is not to make this as a great sport in India because there are multiple challenges, but just to make a point that this is possible. People who connect with drifting should go back and get their hands dirty and try drifting. That's our attempt with whatever we've done. Do we see this becoming a great sport in India with challenges? It's a hard journey, but it's impossible. No, I don't think so. It's still possible. See, you develop your basics. We have tie-ups with a lot of international schools in Malaysia and Thailand. We hook you up there. You polish your skills and start competing in the international cycle, international calendar that you have. You do have to do to become a world champion. You have to compete in the next 7 rounds. If you are great at every round, you see yourself becoming a world champion as well. D1 GP Thailand, what Sanam runs for fun.
Perfect. So, but again, coming to India, so do you think like the government like will consider this and consider it only in a safe zone, as we spoke, to authorize it. Okay, yes, you can have consider this as a sport, and it will be considered under the sports category
Bro,
or something.
honestly, I don't blame the government with what they're doing. They don't look up motorsport as a great sport because wherever you grow is crowded. Somebody in an attempt to make himself sound cool is doing a burnout on the road,
Right.
doing a drifting on the road. You're putting at least 10 people's life on an average at risk.
Correct.
At any point in time, if I do a burnout or pull a handbrake on the road, I can bump into, on an average, 10 people's life at stake. If I was an authority in government, I wouldn't want to promote motorsport because this is how badly it can be looked up.
Correct.
So for us as motorsports lover, we have to always pass this message on to anybody who's trying to be cool on the road, saying this is not cool. Maybe put a thumbs down to him. Maybe invite him. If he's a real guy, he'll come over to you where you're having fun at a closed circuit and all that. Make him learn the basics, get him to focus on his fitness, and get him to do right mods and get him to do in the right way. That's where even the government will want to encourage it because then you're doing it in the right sense. That's exactly why Thailand or Malaysia or Australia, this is exactly, we've been across around the world.
Right.
See, I mean, to grow motorsports in India, we had to see what is happening in the world.
Correct.
That's where we've seen some culture which are building the base and are very strong. And that's the trait in every event that we do. We bring out very strongly, saying PUC, license, insurance is all a must. Breaking a signal is not a cool thing. You're putting life at risk. All of that, everybody is trying to put some discipline. And then part B, which is motorsports, is an entirely very responsible sport. You have to do it in a certain fashion because there are people beyond you who's going to look up to you and will also learn from you. So be a right message to them rather than trying to be cool on the road.
So again, just coming to the same, taking cues again from what you stated right now. So see, we are talking about international. We are talking about Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, where this sport takes a lot of there are serious competition that happen here.
Correct.
We had MotoGP in India once, right? So if at all we have to hold such kind of competition in India, are we prepared for that? The first thing, so that at least on those cases, we have talent here.
Correct.
So
100%.
why not flaunt those talents and even state that we can also be a participating country when drifting is also considered.
Look, every weekends, it's since I remember myself, we've been watching Max Biaggi, Valentino Rossi. That's how close the sport is. And then we see them, and then there's a far-fetched dream saying that do we see them in India ever? But 2 years back, like you said, till I'm talking to you and I have goosebumps to see these guys like Marquez, uh, 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 Quattraro, these legends right in front of your eyes. I witnessed all of that. To see that, it was a dream come true. But I'm assuming there are bigger challenges for them to face around it, which is solvable. We're talking about whole future of how BIC is going to pan out. We don't know yet. But like your question, does India have enough talent? The answer is yes. That's how a Pune baby, which is Indian Superbike League, it's a dream of a couple of my friends like Samar and Pranav, who also owns a Ducati showroom here, Legacy.
Right.
They've really gone out to make this dream a possibility. So we've just recently launched Indian Superbike League. Indian Superbike League is gonna probably create a platform for all of those talented kids who are inclined toward motorsports and have great skills around biking. We'll put them onto tracks, take their journey ahead, giving them some solid background in terms of training, physical, coaching, and all other aspects, what it takes for us to be an international rider. But if I were to see a rider from India going out, becoming a MotoGP rider, it'll at least be a 6 years journey. While people like Sarthak, who's a Pune boy,
Right.
he's a kid, he's already been contemplated and looked up as our Moto3 rider. Some point in time, we see him riding. In another 2 years, I see him appearing in MotoGP. He's going to be our first presence ever in MotoGP. So with him, he's shown us a different light. And yes, to your answer, it's possible there is so much more talent because I was a part of the panel where we were selecting riders. There's so many people, kids, and being supported by their parents are racing and are great talents. The timing on MMRT, Curry is insane. And there are multiple schools that are doing this coaching. But what is lacking currently, there is no platform for them to perform in India at a higher level. So they go to Malaysia and Thailand to race. to which is what we want to create something in India by Indian Superbike League. And it's coming along really well. We have a races lined up for this year. Nanoli is a racetrack, is come as a blessing to us. That's where we'll probably see a lot of riders becoming the Marquezes or the Rossis in the days to come. So a little to give back to the community and see some of our Indian riders at that platform.
Great. So now again coming back to drifting and the cars. So we spoke about the Zen, and I see some amazing other cars as well here. So what, like before buying a car or something, do you have some specification like should be a car, or you feel that any car can be converted into a drifting car?
Well, drifting has few things which are which are very specific. It has to be a rear wheel drive because you're talking the car's got to torque from the rear.
Correct.
So that's the main aspect. So cars got to be a rear wheel drive. But we've got some people who are doing really good job back up in north. People like Harsh and all, they've converted cars to a rear wheel drive. He's recently done a CDR, very inspiring, and that's the talent that we're talking about exists in India. And people like him are doing fantastic to inspire others also to develop more cars. So when we spoke about Mercedes is our only option, people like this who are talented enough have developed rear wheel drive cars in terms of building a Zen, building an 800, building an CDR now into a rear wheel drive car. That'll be our answer to the world, saying that we'll just pick up a car, convert it into a rear wheel drive, and come and compete with you. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, I would still want to stick to the basic whatever I've learned. I will choose a rear wheel drive car to do the drifting. But look at these people who are talented enough to build some cars. They are going the orthodox way of saying that नहीं ये तो मैं बनाऊंगा यार क्या फर्क पड़ता है, like we are Indians and let's just do it. So it's very proud factor to see what they're developing already.
Great. So, like, any car when while you were building and you faced a lot of challenge in getting the parts or anything of that you could want to share?
Bro, so we are on to, like I said, I have 8 cars in my inventory which are drift cars alone. But 3 cars prior to this is done, dusted, and scrapped.
Okay.
So Sanam and me, when we started the journey, we said this will work, this will not work. We tested it. Sometimes we blew the engine, sometimes we went. So some cars became just sheer source of sourcing parts. So 3 good cars been done, dusted before the 4th car came to life and started running for us, and we got all of that right only on the 3rd car. Until then, we were only breaking cars.
So what does that feeling say, like when the first car broke? Okay, this is not working.
Right.
How was that feeling, and then what do you do to keep yourself motivated to, like, no, let me give it another shot on another car of the same make or something that finally it gives you a next level pleasure when you see the finally car is made.
So I operate with a lot of bunch of people who are inspiring motorsports guys and hardcore guys. So these kids, while they form, and whatever you see is uh, logistically they help me create all of this. But this kid's confidence in me pushes me to further saying that don't give up on a project as yet, because there are 40 other people who are also banking on you to bring this project to life. They are equally contributing to it. So people like Sanam, when you have them by your side, they won't give up. They will ensure that what you put your heart and mind is thought through. It's just not a random project. So we are always aware of what we are in it for, and we'll always achieve out of it. And at any time you lose your motivation, your focus, then the people around you, your friends who are hardcore into motorsports, will not let you back down. Then you have these kids who are working with me as my crew. They are the ones who shows immense confidence in you. That pushes you further to next level too. Even if there were blockers, challenges, and mountains of pushbacks that you get from the project, you go back and want to deliver it for them.
Great. So while you were speaking about your father, you told me the range of cars that he had. So if at all you would want to rework on some car that he owned, and which car that would be, and why that car?
So I was like couple of weeks back in Himalayas. We did Manali to Jispa to all the passes to get to Leh, and then from Leh we went to Umlingla. But imagine this journey to what I see was still difficult because of rains, roads, Baralacha Pass. This journey, my father's done it in Fiat when I was born, like at 85 and all of that. He's done it then. So, what kind of cars would those be? What kind of mentality that my father would have? And I would still want to, some point in time, when I have the luxury of the money and time, I want to build that Fiat, which my father took, relive what he experienced then. Roads are luxurious right now. Back then, roads didn't exist. So I still want to go back on his first car, which is the Fiat that he did his rally in first.
The
And there were
premium, I
journeys of
guess.
him reaching to only MP and B back because his car busted. Then he tried the Jeep. There was journeys of him that he reached Manali and then didn't complete his race, but he didn't give up. But I mean, in my luxurious car like Hilux and Isuzu, we give a second thought. But imagine no roads, no telephone, and I've seen his road book, I've seen his map that he started working 2 months prior. What route, how much kilometers, what speed he has to carry, and it's all there as a memory with me. So for them to do it then, when there were no roads that were existing, no communication channel, compared to, I still give it a thought when I have to take my Isuzu or a Hilux to those roads. So imagine what mentality. So I would still want to do it in his way, like a raw, a Fiat or a Jeep, like the way it existed back in the days.
So when you say Fiat, are you referring to the Padmini Fiat?
It is
Okay.
Fiat Padma.
In that he had done that route.
Right.
Crazy.
I have some pictures to share. This is still goosebumps, and sometimes if I'm low, I want to feel a little better. It's his certificates, his amount of photos that he's had back in the days, and he's also worked as a stunt rider for a lot of films as well.
So have you done anything for any films into drifting? Where, because again, quite a few movies have come up in Bollywood right now where
Right.
drifting is there.
Right, maybe not for movies, but I work very closely with a lot of magazines otherwise.
Uh-huh.
Do a lot of stunt shows for them. So we did something which you saw for Tata Harrier.
Right.
We've done something for BE6. We've got Mahindra 3XO. All the stunts that you see on those cars that we've done, I enjoy doing them.
Right.
It enhances my skill and it shows the trust that a brand has on me to pull me as a driver. And
Right.
and I think I crave for things like this. So works in a favor. Weekends just get more interesting, and then you're also facing camera, so it's always a good feeling.
So if at all given an opportunity, would you like to drift in some movie or something else? Or maybe should we say that, like, there should be some movie made like Tokyo Drift or something for the Indian crowd?
So we were very overwhelmed with the support, with the love that we are getting as far as being a motorsports guys. I am totally amazed. So while if I were to give you a comparison, until 3 years back, until we did the Fast and Furious for the Universal World, we
Right.
launched the movie. The world premiere happened in Pune.
Right.
So we were the ones to launch them. Until then, the support was 20%. Like not many people knew about us. We would do among our friends. But post that, it's gone 360-degree up. Now I have likes of Suraj Pancholi, Imran Khan, who come over my track days and enjoy, and they're loving it as well.
True.
So we are also seeing a lot of attention coming from these guys. And if my wildest dream has to come true, and I won't want to spill beans yet, but there is a movie on motorsports being made right now. As we speak, September, or for that matter, the next show that we're coming up with, there's somebody, is a script writer who's going to come and write something for a movie.
That's amazing. So, just as you're talking about movie in Tokyo Drift, if I remember the statement right, it's not the car, it's the driver who is behind it, who is
Correct.
important. So, what is your take on that?
Bro, honestly, I mean, that can be perceived very wrongly in India. So I will go back to quote a very lame example. दारू पीने के बाद भाई गाड़ी तेरा भाई चलाएगा. So